Yes, one of her advocacy helping founders, artists, and visionaries unlock their story, align with purpose, and show up with clarity and confidence in life, leadership, and creative expression. Other than Miss Anna Rosa Parker. Welcome, Miss Anna, on Abstract Essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yeah, thank you. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur and coach. I work with individuals, helping them rewriting their stories. I have an online course. I came from marketing and advertising. Well, actually, before that, I was in the theater, and I've always been in some kind of a storytelling. So when I went over to start to make my way towards coaching, it had to be some kind of a storytelling method that I was gonna work with, and I ended up creating my own framework about 4 years ago. So I've been tested it for a while, and now I've been using it with individuals and teams.
And Miss Anna, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So let's talk about evoke your story. What is the pivotal moment or personal story that made you realize the world needed a course like Evoke Your Story?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. You know, a lot of us are walking around with a story that is perhaps very limiting, filled with like limiting beliefs and something that's been you've been told, something you're carrying about yourself that might not be accurate and definitely not serving you. So I was thinking, how can we look at our story and remove sort of the shame and reclaim it and be proud of it, and then so it's both a course and a creative framework to help you express your own story where you are. And then you build out your future. And what happened is when you rewrite your story, you change your identity with intention and you elevate who you are. And you're basically closing the gap with your story between where you are now and where you want to go. And we also offer live support. So we have office hours, like Zoom office hours.
We often get stuck telling the polished resume version of our stories. How does Evoke help people tap into the messy, human, and truly compelling narratives underneath?
Yeah, we have, in a very technical way, a lot of questions you're going to be answering, and some of those are sort of resetting where you are. And if it's holding you back, you will sort of just own it again or reset it because most likely you've been carrying something different in your head than when you start to do the work. Because Evoke helps you write it down and it's you rewire it in a way. And we work with the heart coherence. So when you are aligned, your heart and your brain is aligned. You start to make different decisions, and you start to look at your story and see it's filled with opportunities and ways you can be proud of it and build on top of that to get your to go to the next steps. So you're always heading towards your desire and dream. And in this is also it allows you to be more authentic and believe in your roots. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be polished, but it has to be yours. Because if you're living someone else's story, chances are you're not going to get to where you want to go because it's not true to you. It's all about living a true story where you came from and where you want to go and everything in between.
Truly, truly authentic you. Miss Anna, the name evoke is powerful. Why this specific word and what does the acronym or concept represent the journey of crafting a story?
Yeah. Evoke, so it means awakening something within you, something that has been asleep or not active. So we're awakening you and your life and your story. But it's also an acronym, and it stands for Earth, which is your roots, your
Mm.
values, which is your compass, really, objectives, what you want to do, your goals and dreams, knowledge, not just about where you went to school and what you studied, but we bring out in you the untraditional knowledge, something you might be sitting on and not activating, some kind of a superpower maybe. And then the last E is essence, and that's the visual image and energy, how you show up in spaces. So that's the whole that. And then we look at that, and that's about where you are right now, and we call it, like a cold opening. This is where you are right now, and now we're going to build your film, your future film. So we walk you through that in like a story mapping way that we've built, and it's very effective.
Very effective indeed. And Miss Anna, what does a student surrender or let it go of when they begin this work? And what do typically step into by the end of the course?
Yeah, great question as well. So, what they often find is something that they have been telling themselves, something that maybe have happened in whether it's earlier in childhood or in your when you be coming into your adult, all kinds of limits that you've been told and closed doors and things that you start to take in and carry with you. Some kind of a maybe lack of worthiness or thinking that you're not good enough in certain areas. We all just we look at it all and put together the pieces again. So that's the sort of the rewiring part, because we do that also while we're very actively working, staying coherent. Um, so that's very healing in a way and empowering too, because you're looking at things that you have been avoiding, and you also been telling yourself the wrong story.
Healing for sure, very healing. And Miss Anna, let's talk about on the process and practical application. Many people feel they don't have a worthy story or don't know where to start. What is the very first exercise in Evoke to overcome that initial hurdle?
Yeah. We start with looking at your roots, where you came from, how you grew up, like what your role was in your family. Um, and we look at the values you grew up with and how they have changed or if they have changed. And we look at also what kind of sort of natural talent you came with. Because people come with something, and whether it's in the workplace or in the arts, they might not be active in that. It could be organization skills, it could be humor, it could be so many different things that you're just like a kind of sort of a quiet, just quiet, asleep. That's sort of the first. So we look at everything where you are, and then we help you, like I said, create your desire through story mapping. And once you've gone through that on your own, because it's on demand class, you can do it in your own time, as fast and slow as you want. And then once you finish that, there is accountability and office hours implemented into the program at first. It will later become a subscription service, but right now it's included in the class. So you can, between my husband and I, who is running this with me, has 30-year experience in creative coaching and academia, um, then yeah, people can have office hours with us. And there's nothing that if you don't have accountability, like AI is not going to give you accountability. It might give you some ideas. But so what we're working with is very original. Like we're going to find the original you. We're going to build your story, and then we're there to sort of hold your hand and encourage you going forward and through the limitations.
Can you walk us through the core framework or methodology of the course? What are the key stages someone goes through to evolve a memory into a powerful story.
Yeah, that's when we're looking at, for example, looking at your values, how you, what kind of values you grew up with, and that's often a very opening because you have might have changed your values, and you might be carrying something that you believe you should be carrying, but it might not be applicable to your life today. That's one of those. And like I said earlier, the roots where you came from, there's a lot of healing and eye-opening, um, just facts in that you have been carrying. And then also like looking at your knowledge, what you're offering today, and how you can elevate that, how you can share your knowledge. That's massive as well. So that's all. It's kind of like you're doing a character study on yourself, and you're the actor. So you're really going through all the elements that make you who you are today. And then we're going to want to see the future you. So who's that? How are we going to get there? And we do that in steps of the story mapping. And we're also very aware of that we all have limitations, but we want to look at them to see what they are, because most likely they repeat themselves and continue to stop you. You don't get further in where you want to go. So if we look at that, and the tools and the strengths you have to overcome that, then you're well on your way already, right? And then that
Yes.
depends what you are building, where you want to get to, um, will help you get there with the ongoing support.
Ongoing support for sure. What is one surprising or unconventional prompt you use in the course to help people uncover the story they didn't even know they had?
Yeah, the format we use, it's very built on creating your own film. Like it's your life, but it's we use tools that are literally like creating a film. That's sort of unconventional in this work. And it's there's more creativity in the thoughts, while we're also building in certainty. Certainty is something that you know that you're gonna this is gonna you're gonna accomplish this, you're gonna get this, you're gonna do this. And when you start to build that sort of a certainty around that, you start to show up differently and behave differently, you start to think differently, and all that plays in the next steps of your career where you are. So there's a lot of a breaking of old patterns. We all have those, and really focusing in. So we introduce also for people to have only plan A. There's no plan B and C and different detours. There's one plan. And when you stick to that, when you commit to a plan and you're not doing all the things at once, you go much further also. So you sort of streamline it and get rid of all the noise and the mess and the chaos.
Miss Anna, how does the course guide someone in taking deeply personal, perhaps vulnerable story and shaping it for a specific audience like stage, a sales pitch, or their brand?
Yeah, if you are diving into your authentic, true self, and you are now in a place where you can start to show up as that, things align in a different way. Because when you're not carrying something that is holding you back, you will only go forward. There is no other way than to go forward. And once you start to sort of buy into that and believe that, and create this knowing certainty, that's everything else sort of falls into where it's supposed to go. And not to say life is still challenging. We're all always gonna get into there are some limits and there are setbacks, and but having the tools to overcome that every time it shows up is very powerful.
Powerful indeed. And Miss Anna, as a founder of Evoke Your Story, what are your short term and long term goals?
Oh, my personal goals.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
well, with this course, I'm very passionate about helping people getting to where they want to go and really understanding themselves to live their truth. Because I think if we're all living our truth, the world is just so much more beautiful. Um, what we're seeing now in this digital age, that there's so much sameness. People are sort of all becoming the same style and goals even. It's all sort of the same. But once you break away from that, and you live your truthful life, and I can help more and more people do that, that's definitely a goal of mine, to help people elevate themselves and allow themselves to be themselves, live in their own story, not have to worry about others, not trying to live someone else's script, someone else's story, but tapping into what they want. And we're getting away from that a lot. And AI is a great tool, but it's not going to help you find anything original. You're not going to be original using only AI script. And then also it doesn't have the accountability. But that's definitely a goal of mine to share this message and work with as many people as possible. Um, Other than that, I'm pretty good, you know. Yeah.
Good good luck to your goals, Miss Anna, and looking forward for more success. And what will be a piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
If they want to find something independent to create their own sort of live their own story, um, starting by understanding where you are now, what you're carrying, and how you are using your time. For example, look at what you're spending time on, because that's going to tell you a lot about either where you want to be. You're either avoiding something, or you are spending time on something you're very passionate about, but you haven't allowed yourself to become that or bring that into your life. So look at how you're spending time. That's very powerful. And then just sit with yourself. Look at your life where it is now, and see what you want to change and how can you change it. Even if you don't work with me in my program, but start to unfold your own story. Write it like it's an adventure, like it's a film, and start to live that.
And thank you for that advice, Miss Anna. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can you share a specific example of a student who went through Evoke Your Story and had a transformational result in their business, career, or personal life?
Yes, definitely. Many. Um, I'll take one student client I worked with recently, and from Brooklyn, someone who had been pursuing or trying to pursue their music career and also looking for some kind of a day job, and didn't really want to do that, but maybe the parents were pushing him to do that. But what happened when we start to look at all the pieces that make up him, this person, he started to find out so many different just possibilities, and also honing in and trusting that he could go that route. And today he is in a band that is fairly successful and performs in various places, and also found a job as a producer on podcasts and works on very successful podcasts. So that all sort of honed in the story that he was living and helped him build the future. So that's one. Another one is a person that I worked with. She had a lot of shame from her childhood and was holding her back. And once we sort of break through that and empower it, it's so powerful to own the story you come from, even if it's not a happy story, but to own that and be proud of it, that you've overcome it. So doing that with someone, and things start to open up, and again, this person is now just published a book and about her life, which is very powerful as well. So it's a lot, you see, it's a lot of breaking those competing desires and limiting things that we stories that we carry with us. It's massive noise in our heads, and that's another thing we talk about with the aligning the heart and the brain. You start to hear more of the nonsense that you're carrying, and start to break those down and shatter them.
Interesting, Miss Anna. How has teaching this course and witnessing hundreds of stories in turn changed your own personal story?
Yeah, that's a great question too. I've really just leaned more into myself and simplified my life really. I was also doing too many things at once, and it didn't move forward as I wanted. But for me to hone in on this, it's really changed my life as well. And there's so much clarity in my head, and trust. I trust myself so much more.
Well, thank you for that inspiring story, Miss Anna. How do you teach students to navigate the fear of vulnerability and instead to see art as their greatest asset when sharing?
To lean into their truth and find power in that, because we're all so very unique, and being here, on this earth right now, uh, I believe it's our mission, and just like role in life to become more of who we are. So helping people becoming more of who they are shatter some of those vulnerability, and then it's good to be vulnerable, because that's also you can use that for others, to have empathy, and to see others, um, because when you start to see others, you start to learn a lot about yourself as well. And we tend to sometimes just show up in spaces and wanted to take something and share something about ourselves, and forget that there are other people there and their stories. And so once you start to see others, we all have this sort of a vulnerability, and stories where we came from, and what we've gone through. But sharing that is also very powerful, and looking at others, and seeing them for who they are is also, it's another powerful, um, just like a little tool when you meet with people, to really listen in, not just prepare to say what you want to say, but listen into them, what they have to say, and who they are.
Powerful indeed. And Miss Anna, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to
Yeah.
please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101, Love Letters in its third season, and Movie 101 Review Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its second season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Anna, if someone is ready to stop hiding their story and stop using it as their greatest tool for connection and impact, what is the best way for them to begin the evoke your story?
Yes, they can go on our website, evokeyourstory.com, and learn more there. You can also get in touch with us, email us there, but start the course. Just jump in, start it, do it on your own time. And then you start to get our emails, and it's a two-way email. You can email us back, and then you can make office hours if you'd like to have our accountability and support. But yeah, start the course. It's very simple. You start to sort of clean up your life, and focus in on your decision making with your journey, what you want to do next. Decision making is so powerful. How we it's can be so messy how we make decisions, but once we sort of evoke ourselves and our story, we start to make different decisions. But yeah, start the course. That's it.
starts the course now. And Miss Anna, thank you so much for sharing your course to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, this is my main project. Um, Wait, are we
Yes.
still on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
okay. Sorry,
Yes.
I heard the music. This is my main project, and then I'm also writing a book alongside with that is the framework. Yeah, with personal stories.
Yes, indeed. Yes, people, let's support Miss Anna Rosa Parker because if you support her for sure, more and more evoking story will rise. So, Miss Anna, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
More to come, people. See you soon.